Welcome to the complete animation of Sasha from the 2018 Christmas animated feature Elliot Littlest Reindeer. That's a lot of L's. Elliot the Littlest Reindeer. Yeah, a lot of L's in that title. Anyway, this movie's fun. I found that, as I continue through my goal of watching every animated movie ever, I'm getting there. I find a bunch of movies that surprisingly I really enjoy. And this one, I was surprised at how much I enjoyed this one. I find that I am most surprised when I find quality in these much lower budget movies. This movie was made from a Canadian studio, and it obviously didn't have the hugest budget, but I found that I enjoyed a whole lot about it. I think that a bunch of the effects that they had were mixed. In fact, I'd say that this entire movie is mixed. The visuals range from surprisingly good to shrug and whatever bad. It's like when a movie is made with not as much budget as this one had, it's like any shortcomings, you can forgive it. Because there's so many parts of this movie that I just really enjoy. There are sequences where the character animation is so good. It's like, wow, somebody really just sat down and got this done, and it looks really good. And then there are some bits of character animation where it's like, yeah, I guess they didn't have the time to get that one really well done. And this character, Sasha, she has a bunch of that. There are some scenes where, she is front and center. She is the one who's talking, and you get some really good animation. And then there are some scenes where, she isn't, the center of attention, and they really didn't put that much effort into it. It's weird. This movie, its story is okay. Once you know what the premise is, it's kind of obvious the directions it's going to be taking, but it's done competently. And, how do you feel about surprise villains? Because this movie has one, and oftentimes surprise villains end up not feeling, that satisfying. And this one is no exception. But I'd say that overall, this movie is it's another one of those movies that I would say is a me movie. It's a movie that I like, and I like what I like about it, but I don't think I'd ever recommend it to anybody, because I've been bitten so many times recommending movies to people and then they just didn't really like it. There are movies that I think, oh, this is right up your alley, you're gonna like it so much, and then they don't. And then I feel like, well, better not do that again. And so, once again, I just think this is a movie that I like for my own reasons, and other people, they can take it or leave it. I'll never recommend it to them. I think that one of my favorite parts of this movie is the design of the reindeer. I really don't like the overly cartoony, overly cutesy reindeer that you have in, the Rankin Bass Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, where it's just, such huge, cutesy eyes and noses that are literally just big black balls at the end of their face. I kind of like these reindeer. Their noses, real reindeer noses don't look anything like this, but I like these stylized ones. Although the character DJ, his nose basically takes this concept to its extreme. It's like, if you want to know what the most extreme stylized reindeer nose you could ever think of is, it's the character DJ. And speaking of DJ, he's Donner, I think? Donner Jr. And his dad is, the famous reindeer. And he's voiced by John Cleese. I think I recognize some of the voices in this movie, but the fact that they got John Cleese to be in this movie is always a good time. I like John Cleese. Yeah, one of the things that I noticed, that often happens in this movie is some characters, like their models are just like not touching the ground. It's like they're floating above it a little bit. And, you know, it's another thing that I can totally forgive. But one of the things that is surprising is how good some of the weather effects are. Like in this final scene, the snow and stuff actually looks pretty good. Which is weird because in the very first part of the movie, there was a bit where the snow really didn't look good at all. So, like I said, like this movie is inconsistent. It has really high highs for character animation and really low lows in other parts of the visuals. But I'd say that overall, like, it's impressive what this movie is able to accomplish. And this character, Sasha, she's really cool. She's the Canadian reindeer who ends up, you know, winning first place and becoming the newest reindeer on Santa's sleigh. And then Elliot, like, he kind of gets it by happenstance. It's not so satisfying. Like, Sasha, she has the satisfying story. But yeah, so Christmas movies, they're really hit and miss. Some of them are good, some of them aren't. But at least a bunch of the time, they're always, you know, cozy. And I like cozy movies. This movie's kind of cozy, not really. Thanks for watching.